Welcome to the Healing Soul podcast, empowering wellness and oneness. Today on the Healing Soul, we're going to be talking about taking back your personal power. And I have a special guest with me today, Mary Armendarez. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, Marybeth. Thank you for
Oh,
having me.
thank you. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. I'm a spiritual illuminator, I like to call, or a power retrieval guidance coach. And my story started when I was little. I was born with 9 other siblings in my family, so there was 10 total of us,
Wow, that's a big
and
family.
a big family. And we were raised Catholic. And I never felt loved. I never felt loved. I never felt cherished. I always felt unworthy, never had a voice to speak up for myself. And I remember going to church and being scared of God because I don't know about other people's backgrounds, but for me, I never felt the love and connection going to church. It was just like we did the same thing every Sunday, every Sunday. And I remember crying as a little girl in church going, I just want to be loved. I just want to be loved. As I got older, my parents put me in all girls Catholic school and I ended up getting pregnant.
Okay.
So here comes the shame, the blame, the unworthiness, all of those feelings started coming up. Um, and I basically was scared to death to tell my parents. Felt like I did the worst thing on the planet. Well, I ended up having my little girl. And when I was about 22 years old, and who was 15 years older than me. So here goes more of my power. Here goes this little bright light that just kept getting stepped on and stepped on and giving my energy away to everybody else and, just being walked on. Until my daughter, I think she was about 28 years old. She said, Mom, you need to read this book on the angels. And I said, okay. Picked up that book, started reading that book, and I went, whoa, Marybeth. I went, wow, I don't need to live in fear with this anxiety anymore. And so I just started doing self-healing work on myself and just really started to go inside and look at, wow, I was really giving my energy away. I was really giving everything about me away. And there was nothing left for me. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know what love was. So that's basically how I got started of where I am today.
So, what was the book that changed your life ultimately?
It's called The 12 Archangels of the Central Sun
Oh, wow. Yeah, I connect with the angels
and
in
the Womack.
meditation all the
And she,
time.
she, mhm. It's
So
powerful.
it's so powerful and it can change your life. They can intercede for you and help you in so many ways. So, how do you feel about setting boundaries? Do you think that's one of the most important things?
Oh my gosh, 100% setting boundaries. And the first thing is with setting boundaries because we don't even realize we're out of bounds or we don't need to set boundaries. We don't even know what boundaries mean most of the time. So I think the first thing you need to do is start looking at your circle, who you're around, and start taking inventory. How do I feel when I'm around that person? Every time I come home from being around that person, I don't feel good. I was joyful. Now I don't feel good. Did that person say something to you? Did that person lower your vibration? Did that person make you feel not worthy? Start taking inventory of the people around you. Start learning, hey, I need to set boundaries. Maybe I don't hang out with this person anymore, or maybe I need to go find a new group of people that are going to respect me. So absolutely. But it's up to us to
It
take
is.
the inventory.
We have to own our own personal power and what feels right in our bodies, only we can know. So it's like when you go to lunch with a friend and you come home and you feel so tired and so drained, maybe you want to limit your exposure to that friend and be around people that really raise your vibration.
That is the number one key. I have one of my sisters, she goes with my other sister because I have 5 sisters.
Wow.
And my one sister is very boastful and everything's perfect and we're this, we're that, we're that. And my sister goes over there and she comes back, she goes, oh my God, my life sucks. Her life is so good, my life sucks and this and that. I'm like, why are you letting her do that to you?
Right.
But we do it in our daily life. What comparison? We're comparing ourselves to others. And we need to stop doing that because that lowers our vibration, right? And that other person knows exactly what they're doing when they're boasting and telling you how wonderful their life is. No, there's a deep down wound inside. So definitely start looking at who you are hanging out with. Because there's, in energy vampires too. They'll suck your energy. They'll suck the life out of you.
Exactly, if you let them. I know from my personal experience, I was in an abusive relationship with my ex-husband. And when I filed for divorce, he stalked me. So how I took back my personal power was by getting a protection order and then following it up with, when he broke it, I prosecuted him through the court system. And that took a lot because I was raised Catholic also and went to a Catholic school and was taught to help people. Well, you need to love yourself first and help yourself first before you can get a healthy relationship. Do you agree with that?
100%. I think that is the hardest obstacle that I'm still dealing with, right? Is really honoring and love yourself. It's truly hard after you've been beat up. See, with the husband I was with for 20 years, I was mentally beat up constantly. And he wanted to because I'm a bright person, I've been bright my whole life, big, bright angel inside of me. And people don't like that. They're going to step on you, just like you, Marybeth. They step on you. And it's like, no, you've got to start loving yourself because you won't gain that worthiness for yourself, right? It's got to be for yourself. Number one, number one, number one. And that is a hard thing for people to do because we're not brought up that. We were programmed, right, to give our energy, especially women. Give your energy away. Do what the man says. The old patriarch. Have to rewire that programming, that thinking.
Right. I totally agree. I was brought up the same way of, you should help people, you should volunteer. If there's something wrong, try to go help them. But it can actually be a detriment if you help to the point where you lose yourself. And I think that's where, if you do a self-evaluation every month on how you're feeling and what are your goals, and do you feel your goals are being met and your needs are being met? And like you said, that self-love and doing things, pamper yourself, go get a massage, do what makes you feel happy and good. And people just don't really do that. And they almost feel guilty as a mother or as a wife or even at work doing something for yourself because we were brought up and programmed, if you will, to help others and not help ourselves first.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to step into our power and make ourselves strong always.
That's right. And what's the number one thing you hear from people? I don't have time.
Oh, it's definitely.
And that is a bunch of BS. You have time to sit down and watch programs for hours at a time in the evening. It's like you have that time, even 10 minutes of just sitting with yourself and just in silence and just looking, maybe just sitting and looking outside at a tree or looking at a blank wall, whatever it is, that will center you immediately.
Right.
And it'll replenish your insides, right? So I look at it like this. So we all talk about the chakras, right? Well, the
Right.
chakras truly are our spiritual batteries. Those are our energy batteries.
Right.
Energy battery for love, for truth, for joy, for safety and security. for creative energy. And if we're not flowing in that, if we're not overflowing with those energies, we're depleted, completely depleted. And what is that? Filling up with that energy, that's self-love, baby, right there.
It is for sure. And what I found that really helps me are solfeggios. They're hertz tones that vibrate to your actual chakra frequencies. And if you look on YouTube, you can look up solfeggios, and there's several different tones that you can play that actually open and heal your chakras.
Absolutely, because what are we? We're made of sound and light, right? So that sound truly does work. It's a vibration.
Right. And holistic and science community are finally starting to catch up again. I feel like we, from the shaman to then, Western medicine, and now we're finally circling back to what is a nice combination of both to make us holistically healthy and well and empowering wellness. And
Yes.
what do you think a healthy relationship looks like to you?
A healthy relationship is number one is loving yourself no matter what. Because if you don't love yourself, this is what I've learned. Whatever what's going on inside of me, you attract what's coming, right? So
Right.
that first, like when you meet somebody new, the first couple of weeks is so loving and kind until that little wounded child comes out, right? Because
Right.
there's still things that you haven't worked on inside of yourself.
Right.
So with a loving relationship, number one, you've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and be able to unconditionally, because then you're going to be a better partner for somebody else. And then when their wounds come up and reflect back to you, that's an absolute mirror, right? Because
Right.
you're creating, oh wow, he just said that to me, whoa, I better go and look at this for a second and
Right.
go and say, you know what, oh my gosh, that came back. I remember when somebody talked rude to me. I need to go back and forgive that. And I need to forgive myself. But it's got to be with a loving relationship, be a way to open your ears. And when something is coming to you, you have to stop and go, okay, this is absolutely a direct reflection to me. What am I going to do? This is what I do. I put
Right.
myself in violet fire, and I just start going through, okay, I forgive. And I put my husband in violet fire.
Uh-huh.
And now we are in this energy of transformation and forgiveness. Now we can have a conversation that is like, if there's a problem, we can talk in a calm and get it resolved. Because I think that's the number one thing in relationships. We brush things underneath the rug and we're not honest, right?
Right.
This is
Right.
really bothering me. Yeah. So when I have a conflict in a relationship with me and my husband, I put him in violet fire, I put me in violet fire, calm down. And then we can talk instead of brushing things underneath the thing, because they're only going to surface later.
Right.
And to have a really loving relationship every morning, tell each other how much you love each other. Because my husband just had a stroke. And I'll tell you what,
I'm so
that
sorry.
is it's the biggest eye opener of your life. Getting that phone call was like being sucker punched in my gut. I've never had that feeling in my life,
I'm
right?
so sorry you both had to go through that.
Thank you, Marybeth. It's been frightening. It's made us stronger as a couple, because it's like, yeah, I could go pack up my shit and go, right?
Right.
No,
Right.
I made a commitment to this man,
Right.
and he would do the same for me, right?
Right.
So this talk about a relationship, this bonded us like crazy. Yes, I got angry. Yes, I was pissed. Like my whole life is over. This is a man who we exercise, we travel, we do all these things, and it's like, And I was like, oh my God,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's like, oh my God, what just happened? And now I sit back and think, this man, ever since my 20-year relationship, now I'm with my husband for the last 10 years,
Uh-huh.
he has opened doors for me. He has loved me unconditionally. He's taught me how to love myself, that I can do anything and that I'm worthy of it.
Wow.
So now it's my turn to protect him and to love him and give back what he's given to me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's been quite a shock. And now I'm like, okay, that was the way our old life is. This is our way our life is. Because people go, how do you do it? And I say, I can't go around it. I gotta
You
go
gotta
through
move
it, right? I
forward.
can't,
Yeah. You gotta move
this
forward
right
with
in,
it. Yeah.
yeah, it's right in my face. And I'm like, holy cow, what do I do? You know what I do? Is I call on the angels.
Right.
Call on the angels. And I ask the angels to just come and help us on every step of the way.
And that's
And
perfect. It's beautiful. Because people do forget to ask their angels for help and their guides too. Show me the way, show me what to do. And to me, a beautiful relationship is like what you said. He showed you how to love yourself, and now you're there for him. So, equal partners meeting each other halfway and meeting each other's needs at different times, but totally being there 100% for each other. So, it sounds like you have a beautiful relationship now where you have that beautiful relationship and balanced relationship.
yes. And it sounds like you've been through the same thing as I had, with your ex-husband, my ex-husband. And
Right.
now,
And standing in your power that yes, you can. And you can take back your personal power in a positive way and in a loving way to yourself. And it teaches you what to look for in your next partner, that you deserve and are worthy of love, which sounds so simple. But to me, that's why I came back to earth this time, was to realize that I deserve as much love as I give.
right.
And it sounds like you've had a similar lesson in your life.
Yeah. Because what we do is we give, and we're not in balance of receiving. That's the whole problem here.
Right.
Because, yeah, we're giving all the time and we forget that we are worthy of receiving. And that is a huge lesson for humanity right now. And I think what we're going through right now.
And I think to give the listeners some tips on confidence and being more self-aware and able to have self-love, is meditation and asking your angels to help and your guides, and taking that time every day to meditate 15-20 minutes, because when you've got that quiet, you get clarity.
You sure do, because the ego mind will take us down the wrong path every single time. Believe me, I know. I've been beating myself up with when the ego mind gets in there. When you go in and you calm yourself down, that's self-love, giving yourself that 15 minutes of meditation. And everybody thinks, oh my gosh, I'm not centered. I can't da 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 da. No. What you do is you just call on the angels, you call in your team, ask them to balance you. I want to be one with my divinity and my divinity one with my humanity, right? Because that's putting you in balance. And
Right.
then when thoughts come through, let them come through, acknowledge them. What I like to do with my ego is I like to tuck her into bed, and go, okay, you're going to stay here. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go see my angels and my higher self, and I'm going to go over here, but you're going to stay here. Because it
So
puts it in two different perspectives, right? You could put it, okay, now it's time to be the true being who is Mary, instead of
right.
reality.
So true. So for the listeners, what are some tips you would give to build their confidence if they aren't a confident person and they do need to, they don't even know how to step into their personal power. What are some confident builders that you can think of to share with listeners?
Okay, this is great. Okay, so, okay, energy. Let's talk about energy for a second.
Perfect.
Energy does never dies. Oh my gosh, my hair is going crazy. Energy never dies. Okay. So every time we get upset or we constantly think, we're leaking our energy. We're leaking. Every time we do something against our will, we're leaking our energy. Now, like I said, energy never dies. Guess what? We can bring it back.
Right.
So I like to look at it like this. We are this massive soul that is and every time we are harmed or think guilty thoughts, shameful thoughts, we can bring it all back. How do you do that? I call my mental energy back to me. Whoa.
I love
Whoa.
it.
Look how easy that is.
Very easy. People overthink it, right?
Yes, I call my emotional energy back to me. I call my physical energy back to me. How about I call my heart power back to me? Whoa. Okay. Now, those are the basic things that you can do, but now we can get more specific. So we can go back to those times when, let's say, when you, I don't know, you stole something or you lied. You can go back to those times and look at that, and you can go, you know what? I need to call that energy back because I was a real little jerk or whatever. So you go like this, you look at that scene and you look at that person that you're talking to, thinking bad, whatever, or we can reverse it. The person was hurting you. We're going to go back to that scene. And the first thing you need to do is go, I forgive. But what if it's really bad? Like they really did something terrible to you, unthinkable, unforgivable. The most powerful thing you can do is to go, I forgive. Even if I don't want to forgive, I forgive. What that does is that's opening up and releasing that chunk. And now we can call that energy back. To call that energy back a different way. We want to call it back purified, stored, right?
Right.
And the more you go back and start doing that, it's going to start building your confidence and your energy is going to come back faster and faster. How about when you have slept with somebody you didn't want to, or they forced you to?
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
huge. Huge. Yes.
huge life force drain right there.
Right.
I call my energy back. I forgive myself. Whatever it is. But I'm telling you, it starts with the forgiveness. And
I
then you
totally
call it back.
agree.
Now,
Forgiving yourself for the bad mistakes you make and forgiving the other person, even if you don't agree with what they did to you, allows you to move forward and free yourself.
100%. And people don't get that. And even if you don't want to forgive them, it doesn't matter. Just keep practicing that because all of a sudden you're going to go, whoa, wow, I don't even think anymore because we've cleared it. We've cleared it all by yourself. You don't need anybody to do this for you. You don't need to ask God. You don't need to ask Jesus. You don't need to ask anybody for forgiveness.
Right.
You are made in the image of God. Therefore, you are God. You are creating your reality.
Right.
So you need to go in and go, I forgive. And watch how you start to feel. The
Right.
confidence, everything will just start boosting up. Now, another great thing for to build up your confidence is say you need to go in and you want to raise from your boss. Now, where does that power come from? It comes from the lower chakras. These chakras are the most important things you need to be overfilled, flowing that energy constantly. So you are fearless, you have confidence, and you have your joy. Okay.
Right.
The root bottom part. That's the color of the ruby red energy. That's the feminine energy within our bodies. If we don't feel safe and secure, our minds go crazy. Our lives don't work out. We're scared to death to do anything. So we need to be overflowing with this energy. So a great way to overflow with this energy is to simply, you can drink it. Imagine a golden cup with some beautiful ruby red energy. Start drinking it. You can
Right?
sit on it, a couch. You can sit on your chair and just have that energy start flowing up through you. That is the key to success. And
Right.
then the creative energy is where the orange, that beautiful copper color orange, we need that creative energy to move our minds forward at a high vibration. But let's go back to the boss scenario. So we want to fill up with those colors. We want to fill up with those colors overflowing. You could do it any way you want. You can imagine colors coming through you, and if you don't see them, it doesn't matter. It's your intention goes, that's what's going to happen in your life. So this is what you do. You call on Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel, I need you to open the angel airway. That's who Gabriel, what Gabriel does.
Gabriel is my favorite, who I call
Yeah.
upon.
So ask to open up the angel airway so I can have a clear conversation with my boss. So what's happening here in the ether? Archangel Gabriel, because you're asking, it's going to do it, right? Opens up the angel communication and asks, I want my guides and my boss's guides to have a conversation up here, even before you go to
Right.
work.
I do this too. Yes. And
It's
it works.
wonderful.
It works. It's like
It
magic.
does work.
Yes. It's like magic.
So that is a great way. It is. Yeah. And I can feel it coming in right now. And see, you see both of us.
Right? Smiling, right? Happy.
You
Raises your energy.
can feel when the angels come right in. Uh-huh.
And I
Yeah.
always, I
Yeah.
believe in opening heart too.
Yes, I know. It's so cool.
Connecting to your intuitive heart and your third eye. And I think it overflows your entire auric field with love, and realizing that when you sit in your heart, you're sitting in your soul, and nobody can hurt or kill your soul. And when you realize what an empowered soul you are, you step into your personal power, and nothing anyone says to you will stop you. You will be so confident in yourself in a loving way.
100%. Well done, Marybeth.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being on the Healing Soul podcast. And how can our listeners get a hold of you?
They can find me at maryarmendarez.com or on YouTube. I just do little tips on YouTube on how to bring in your personal power.
Okay. And you have angel cards and other items on your website, don't you?
I do. I actually have I have the earth element cards.
Oh,
So it teaches
perfect.
you how to open your sacred space. Yeah. So they're beautiful. There's only 5 cards in the deck, and they teach you how to open up your sacred space and call in the angels and using the elements, right? Because they're all associated with each other.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. I really appreciate it. And may your husband completely restore his health 100%. And it's beautiful, the relationship that the two of you have. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Marybeth, for having me on your show.